Starting the morning out with a parts run to Alliance Tractor. Need to get a more permanent fix on our seed fan line. That way we don't have to struggle with low seed populations from a lack of quantity in the units. Placement tubing secured. Looks like they're starting to get some new combines in. Hopefully a little earlier than last year. That way people don't get left behind when their new one doesn't show up. There's Bill and Stan planting some corn. That's good to see. Red equipment in action. I'd say the wheel weights on the 9620R are fixed because Jeff's rolling pretty quickly too. Before we install this blower line, we're doing a quick 50-mile-an-hour field scouting tour to see if this field is going to plant into soybeans today. We're starting to run into a bottleneck where our field cultivators are up on the heels of all of our dry ground. Our planters are on the heels of our field cultivators, and a rain is on the heels of the planters. Not only was there a rain almost guaranteed tomorrow, they've also added some scattered storms today, Thursday, midday. So might kind of throw a wrench in our plans to get a good day of productivity in. We're just gonna have to play it by ear. I'm gonna go install this blower line. Main two things on our list right now: repair the blower line on the planter, and then dump the seed tanks. Get more beans, load beans into said dumped planter, and plant more beans. Pretty self-explanatory list we got. Our seed dumping skill is degrading. I made quite a bit of a mess there, but Dad wanted me to back in here. I was trying to unfold the planter. It makes it a million times easier. We get in here and he said, it's going easier for you to unfold the planter. He's had to plant corn. I'm going to fix this blower line. The tape did hold together somewhat. I didn't have any issues for the rest of the night run like this. That's definitely not ideal though, because it's sucked in about 2 inches. It's holding pressure. Gonna need this, and a battery would probably also help. There's a battery. Check this out. This is the other red equipment I got in a set with the grease gun. I haven't gotten an opportunity to use it yet, but I did give my dad an indefinite lease on the DeWalt impact gun I had. That way he didn't have to steal mine all the time. You're coming with me, buddy. I grabbed 7 foot of this blower line. Hopefully that's enough. Seems like a lot when I'm carrying it over my shoulder. Although it does run from here all the way to the other side, so that would make sense. Hopefully it's not too much of an issue getting it in. And that's what it looked like new. Get off of there. Oh, that thing's dusty. There we go. Just a matter of angles. Not something you want to be loose. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I don't want it sagging across the middle. I'm still going to lift up that hose on the right side, but Katie's trying to get out of here with the tractor, so I'm going to get out of her way. I can fix that once she's gone. She's off. I've only been working for 30 minutes and I've already hit peak dirtiness. That old blower line had quite a bit of dust on it. Now I'm in search of a zip tie, which are right here to hold up that line. There's a little bit of excess length to it. I don't want it sagging down and possibly getting caught up in the folding mechanism, resulting in me replacing it again. It's a little bit too much play for my liking. I have it taut through the middle because I didn't want rubbing on any of this stuff. These bars rub up against the ribbing in it. It's kind of like dryer venting. So that's not going to go anywhere, but this could use a little bit of security. You don't have a long enough zip tie, but you have a lot of shorter zip ties. You can create them to make a zip tie centipede. I'm not sure if this is as structurally solid as a one-piece zip tie. but it's better than no zip ties. We're headed up to Bruce and Wes's to get some Pioneer seed beans. I'm waiting to hear back from Katie because she went to work a small field on the way to work some ground for the corn planter, and I wanted to see if it was going to be dry enough for her to work it. It's the same bean that I'm loading for this field, and I'm going to go ahead and load for both of them. However, if it's not dry enough, I'm just going to load for the field that we checked out this morning, and we'll play it by ear after that because I'm basically out of dry worked fields. And it looks like there's a rain coming in pretty quickly, so this is a risky venture nonetheless. I may get caught with my pants down and a seed tender full of beans. Hey, is that gonna work?
It's drier than what I've been in the last couple days.
Okay,
I've only made around 100 things.
all right, that kind of answers that. She said she's only worked a smidgen of it, but it's drier than other things she's worked. And based on the other things she's worked, I would think that this field would be fit to plant. So we're gonna add another 40 acres worth of beans to the seed tender. Worst case scenario, starts raining or isn't dry enough, we'll just dump it off into a corn pro box or something here at home. That way we have them for next time we're going. Oh man, this is not looking good. We are that blue dot right there. Currently, our farm is closer to this star pin, and I don't think we're gonna miss that rain, and it's not any further than 20 minutes out. These beans are treated, and he does not have to run them through the system to weigh them. So, we're just gonna do it outside. It's a little quicker than the seed treater. I don't know if loading the seed tender is the right plan here. I don't think we're gonna miss this rain. I'm definitely gonna tarp it on the way home and pull the planter inside and wait and see what happens, because there's no reason to go start a field right now with this kind of bearing down on us. This is a lot nicer than having to load the beans yourself when you got a seed man to do it. I don't see any rain coming across the countryside right now as of yet. However, I am going to improvise through my game plan. First, seed tenders going in the barn out of the rain so these beans don't get wet. Should I have loaded them before it rained? I don't know. You could answer that either way, but they're on here, so we do have to work with that. Get these out of the rain. Need to fold my planter up, get it inside just to keep it dry, and there's a bag of soybeans on the back that we don't want to get wet. I don't know what my window's looking like, but we have one of our new farms right on the outskirts of Mattoon that is very weedy. It's also a wet farm. It either needs sprayed or worked, and I may try to make a mad dash with the vertical till without checking the moisture to that farm and work it real quick. It's not big, but if we could get some of those weeds disked up, it would make a world of difference. With the rain in close proximity and not knowing the condition of the field I'm going to, this should definitely be considered a leap of faith. Not to mention, I had to steal the 6000 receiver off the planter tractor. The 9460R normally would have our 5th dome on it. However, our neighbor had an older tractor that broke down. Our John Deere dealership gave them a newer tractor that didn't have a dome that was compatible with their system. So being the good neighbors we are, we let them borrow ours. This quite possibly may be a bad idea, just for the fact that it may be raining before I get there. Got a lump in the tire, it's a bouncer, right into the belly of the beast. Never taken a tractor this far into town. There may be some tree limbs to pick up when I'm done. And here's our weedy mess, right in town. New farm, we know how to manage it now, I guess. This is gonna be high speed. Just warn you guys right now. The rain is almost on top of us, and I'm just trying to hit the worst spots of the field. Get broken through this sod, combination of broadleafs and grasses. We can come back and hit the field cultivator later. Not looking good. Valiant effort though. I've kind of got a cover crop to work with out here forms a mat over the top and gives me a little bit of traction just to tear through this. I can tell you definitively that this vertical tillage pass is going to be cheaper than spraying Gramoxone or Paraquat out on this field. Very quick burner and killer. It's going to be expensive. Most people probably don't even have it with the herbicide shortages. Not to mention that we're in such an urban area right now, or just a large population of houses nearby. I'm not sure that they would even spray Gramoxone. Actually, they definitely wouldn't. So other option would be Roundup, but Roundup's not a quick enough killer to kill these weeds and get us out here soon enough to plant this if we get an opportunity in the next week or two. This is gonna have to be field cultivated again, but it's the lesser of two evils. I don't want to jinx us, but it stopped raining. It wasn't a measurable rainfall, enough to scare me though. I think we're gonna be really happy that we got this worked. We'll hit it with the field cultivator again later. This is a real good start to kill the weeds. This farm right here has some extremely good dirt. I mean, probably some of the best around. And look how rich and fertile that soil is out there. Just needs some drainage work. I think it's got a ton of potential with a little bit of land shaping and a little bit of tile. It may be one of the best farms in the county. Wet farms are very productive once you can get them drained. You can't tell by the gleaming excitement on my face. I finished this field. Much to my surprise, I thought I was gonna get rained out. I am in a predicament though. I really need to use the restroom, but I'm in a field in the city of Mattoon, completely surrounded by houses. I've tried to position myself as best as possible for security. I don't want to end up on a list and have to register my name. I know there's a park about half mile away. I do have to be careful with my decision here. I'll just walk back in here and check for a hydraulic leak. This field definitely could have been drier. All things considered though, I'm not really disappointed with the state of the soil. I just scratched on the top couple inches, killed most of the weeds, or at least chopped them up enough to put them back a couple of weeks. So when we come back, hit it with the field cultivator, it should work up about perfectly. And because we opened up that top crust of the soil, flipped it over, it will dry out quicker when the weather improves. I don't know if the landowner is going to be upset or not, but I'm taking some of his soil home with me. Is that why they call it vertical till? Because it throws the dirt vertically? Or am I just driving too fast? Now comes the more interesting part of the equation for this field. My tires are definitely full of dirt, maybe moist dirt, but I wouldn't call it mud. The vertical till is gonna have all sorts of dirt over it. I wanna get out of here and out of town without making a mess, or as minimal of a mess as possible. We try not to impact others as much as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but I'm gonna pull out of here. I'm gonna leave town the way I came in, but I'm just gonna crawl. So maybe 10, 15 miles an hour, not full speed. Then when I get out in the country, I'm just gonna open her wide open, let that dirt fly off. The more dirt that falls off now, the better. A lot of it will find its way off on the road, if not. Citizens of Mattoon, I apologize for what I'm about to do. Now I can rain and clean this road off, that'd be great. I changed my mind. I took Route 16, but I'm not gonna open it up yet and let this dirt fall off. All right, I'm about a mile out of town, let's let her eat. Mission accomplished. My leap of faith worked out. Maybe a soft landing. You're coming home to the planter tractor with me, buddy. Your day's not over yet. Seems like there are days when everything goes your way and other days when nothing goes your way. Today, I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'm grateful for that because at least we got something productive done. As long as we don't get any more moisture, the ground should dry out in the next hour or so, and I'll take that soybean planter to the field and we'll try to plant. The field cultivators never stopped. The corn planter did have to shut down for 30 or 45 minutes because once the ground gets wet on top, it starts to stick to your gauge wheels. You really need to kind of shut down, let it dry. He's back in action. Coincidentally, I was in the wrong place at the right time, so I have to load the seed tender with corn for him. I actually have zero idea whether or not that would help. Looking for a DeKalb 6141. Say that's it right there. 6141, 111 day DeKalb double pro corn. Easy! Whoa! The scales are shifting the other way on my luck for the day. I just went to tie my boots and snapped my string. I don't think I have a replacement here. Needless to say, this other seed tender is a little more labor intensive than the one I use, which is probably why I enjoy mine so much. What'd you hit with that one? Huh. How many do you want? Today I'll be the person standing and watching while someone else hits the sweep saw. And I'm gonna enjoy every bit of it. I need to get you a better. Is that the only hammer you have?
Yep.
You serious?
Yeah. I think it's the only one in there.
That's a terrible hammer.
Yeah.
There's Jeff. 9620 is doing a good job. After some manual labor, Katie's fuel cultivator is back in shape. I'm not going to say tip-top shape, but the broken sweeps are replaced, and they're going to keep working some bean stubble, keep the corn planter fed. About a third of this field is darker, more productive soil. The other 2/3 are lighter soil. The lighter soils we found really like to be worked in terms of drying out. If you crack them open, they actually dry very quickly and they're forgiving to tillage. Now the dark soil, if it's too wet and you open it, you might find yourself in trouble. The planter is probably 150 acres behind them. But as you guys could tell from me running the planter, that corn planter, 150 acres isn't that much. This isn't really what you want to see on the windshield when you're going to load the bean planter, but I'm just going to send it at this point. As long as it's not pouring down rain, we're planting these beans. Liking the side of those clouds. That looks like a heavy rain. Maybe it'll go north of us. We loaded the planter back up with the Pioneer 35 T15E Enlist soybeans. We've already planted these on a couple farms. The 35 T15Es, based on what I've gathered from the agronomists, are a soybean that really like a productive acre, have a very high top end yield potential, but probably shouldn't be placed on your more marginal ground. We're taking them to 2 fields that are actually extremely productive, rich soils, so I think they'll fit right in. Corn hybrids and soybean varieties are much like people. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, so do these plants. Certain germplasms perform better on certain soils in different environments, and other ones do better in other ones. It's that simple. I'm rethinking my decision to come out here. That area in particular right there looks like extremely heavy rain. It does look like it's kind of headed south-southeast, so although it may not hit us square, it should hit us, which is not what I'm wanting to see. I'm probably just creating myself a mess right now, but hopefully the corn planter is zipping through the rest of its field. He can grab a few more gears than I can without struggling. I've already gambled once today and won, which means if I gamble again, I'm likely to win. Also, I think that's how that works. Is that rain or dust? I sure hope that's not rain, but it really looks like it. The soybeans are not very deep in the ground, barely an inch in. Not even really moisture there. There's gonna be moisture pretty shortly. Now that one's a little deeper. It was about an inch. There we go, a little better. It's an inch there. We'll run our downforce up 20 or 40 pounds. That should do it. That was definitely a rain. Someone must be looking out for us today. To confirm whether or not that was rain, I texted the neighbor to the northwest about a mile and asked him if it was in fact raining. He said yes, the rain's starting to pick up here at our house or farm. Then he texted me back about 60 seconds later and said, actually it's starting to go north. To which I immediately responded, I don't need to know what you're doing, nor do I care. But don't stop doing whatever you're doing to get that rain to move north, because it's benefiting me tremendously. We're on the last pass of this field. It didn't end up raining, got plenty of seed, and the exit is right here. That's what I call a farm fairy tale ending. I am starting to drag a little bit in terms of energy levels. I stayed up pretty late last night, till 3 a.m. Not farming, editing a video. It'd be nice if I could edit in the tractor. That'd probably be a little distracting. I forgot to mention, that was the field I got stuck in with the grain cart. Ground conditions are a little bit different than last fall, although that field could have been in better shape. We'll take what we can get. Oh, would you look at that timing? That's the corn planter right there. He's headed home. Or maybe this field right here. I don't know. Can you bring that seed tender down to Wetzel's at the railroad?
How long? I need to get some tips from sweets. Do I have time to do that?
Yeah, if you're quick.
I'm gonna be quick.
Okay, I need you to come from the north.
I know that.
Okay, see ya. Excuse me, pardon me. Coming through. Don't mind me. Yep, don't worry, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Chris is here before I ran out of seed. There's 4 things in life you can count on. Death, taxes, the weather not cooperating, and Chris. She's plenty heavy. I think we can make this work. Holy moly, that's wet. Jeez. I don't think I should be out here playing this. Whoa! Enough of these Pioneer 35 T15s to finish this field. We don't have any other corn stalks worked in advance, and looking at these ground conditions right now, anything that is worked really needs at least a day to air out. My scouting report from Katie indicated that this field was dry. This field is not dry. This is the opposite of dry. But dry to a cultivator operator and dry to a planter operator are probably 2 different things. My row units indicate that it is in fact wet out here. Maybe not muddy, certainly not dry though. My mind tells me not to plant this. My heart says just go ahead and do it. Unfortunately, this is another field where those spiked closing wheels are really gonna earn their keep. And this field will most likely need another rain once it's planted to seal these rows up completely. I also should remind you that not every spot in the field is like that. A good handful of them are, though. I can't undo planting the in-rows, especially on a triangular shaped field like this. I've essentially done a deal with the devil. I'm gonna finish planting this farm. What in the world? I'm not familiar with that shape. Level out. Oh shoot, hydraulic leak. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I was wondering why it looked like that. Rule number one of a hydraulic leak, back up to the road as fast as you can. Explains the wonky shape. Probably gonna have to replace the seed line too. That's a hydraulic force against that. There's our problem. That little 1 foot hose is our problem though. To look at the positives, we don't have to worry about that section of the planter frame rusting anytime soon. Hey, I need a ride. I broke down. I blew a hydraulic line.
Okay, bye.
Ooey gooey goodness. I got a set of sockets, a set of channel locks, a big screwdriver, but I gave Dad my wrenches the other day and he didn't give them back. Based on the performance of this green tape on the air leak, not sure this will work on a hydraulic line. Just speculating. Obviously the hydraulic line is gonna need replaced, but what about that? Did that cut into that? If you couldn't tell, I did experience one of those 30-second periods where something totally looked off on the planter and I was trying to justify why it looked like this. Then I saw a geyser coming out of one side and it all clicked. Planter's broke down. I'm not trying to be negative by any means. I'm really not that upset about it. Unfortunately though, Alliance Tractor is closed at 7 p.m. I think they send their last people home at like 6 or 6:30. What that means is we're not going to be getting a new hydraulic line, which also probably means that we're going to get rained out tomorrow before we can finish this field. If you look closely here, this spot on the seed tube, very worn, almost worn all the way through. That would have been an issue. I would imagine as this row unit back here was bouncing up and down, it was rubbing on this line because the line is also kind of grooved on the hydraulic line, and eventually the weaker of the two just busted, and that was the hydraulic line. This is what we scrounged up at the barn. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it's close. Except for the length, it's definitely too long. We need a foot of hose. This is 6 foot.
What's the chances of that happening, Andy?
I'd go back through them, like go around it in on itself, and then go, yeah. Let's have to keep an eye on it.
Are you gonna go ahead and plant this? Might as well.
Might as well, it's gonna need a rain. I don't want to speak too soon because we haven't finished the field yet. That right there is about a 6 or 7 foot section of hydraulic line from an old field cultivator or something that we dug out of the back of our barn back at home. If we were a cat, we've used at least 3 or 4 lives today. Like I said though, fingers crossed because we have not finished the field. And Dad did think it was a little wet, which I do concur. Nighttime means light time. Almost to the finish line. Bump, bump, bump. Another one bites the dust. Actually, that's not very fitting. There wasn't much dust out there. I welcome a rain with open arms, and we are supposed to be getting one. There's a rain coming tomorrow, so we might as well just pull this inside. Oh, what a day. If you're gonna be a farmer, you gotta be adaptable. Alrighty everyone, I'm gonna hustle up, get these doors shut before the exit lighting on the tractor turns off. Rain in the forecast tomorrow, it's almost a sure thing. I don't think we're gonna miss the rain, although we did get pretty lucky today with a few showers. We'll count our blessings there. I think that's more than enough farming for one video. If not for you, definitely for me. I appreciate you all tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love talking about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace!